Hi everybody, I'm Natasha. We're gonna make burgers. My son for like about 2.5 years would only eat burgers. That was the only protein he would consume. And so we had a lot of burgers. And then I kind of fell off the radar for a little while. And then yesterday my daughter complained that we were eating chicken too much. So anyway, we're gonna make burgers. Okay, so I have about a pound of ground beef in here. I always use really lean ground beef for burgers because the fat comes from other things. So I try to kind of keep it lean so they don't get too greasy. I'm gonna season them first. I'm pretty chill about ingredients and like what kinds of ingredients I use for things, and like super flexible, like whatever you have. One thing I'm not super chill about is salt. I think kosher or sea salt is important because table salt, they add iodine, and I have a pretty sensitive palate, I guess, but like I can always taste the iodine in table salt. So I tend to use, and I think there's probably more scientific reasons than that to use sea salt, but I don't know what they are. So anyway, here we are. I'm going to season this meat for a minute. Should be longer than a minute, but that's the amount of time we have. We have about a minute, so a little time is better than no time. I'm having a Caesar. You know what I put in Caesars, which is so delicious, is a little bit of Diet Coke, like this much Diet Coke in a Caesar, and it's like smoking. It's amazing because it makes like a little bit of a spicy sweet thing, which I love. Okay, so then the next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna drink some Caesar. We're gonna make a little bit of barbecue sauce, which I'll talk about in a second. And the barbecue sauce is gonna go right into the burger mix, so it gets really nicely in there. Okay, barbecue sauce, like everything else, is a balance, and so you can swap out different components as long as you maintain the balance. So the kind of the glue of the barbecue sauce, the base of the barbecue sauce, is like a tomato product. So typically I'd use tomato paste. I do not have tomato paste. I saw the other day on the internet like a tomato paste powder that was amazing because you just keep it in the cupboard, you just scoop out a scoop of it. Anyway, I'm gonna order it. I don't have any tomato paste. I'm gonna use ketchup as the base. So because ketchup has sugar and vinegar in it, we need to keep that in mind in our formula. So because it'll already be a little bit sweet and a little bit acidic. Okay, so that's a roughly a third of a cup of ketchup. I bought new mustard in case you were worried. This is it's a creamy mustard. I would use a grainy mustard if my children weren't such picky lunatics. Okay, so then a tablespoon of mustard. So you want to have like an acid that's like your mustard is going to create a little bit of that brightness to it, a little bit of pungency really, but I want to add a little bit more acid too. So you could use any kind of vinegar really that you wanted. Balsamic is definitely best. It's got a little bit of a depth to it. You could also use red wine vinegar or apple cider vinegar, which is what I'm going to use, because you know what, the grocery store was, because I live in a small town, was all out of balsamic vinegar today. It was Save On, and they were out of balsamic vinegar. Like, what's that? Like, how can you not keep some balsamic vinegar on the shelf? I don't know if it's like the supply chain issues right now because of COVID or what, but it was ridiculous. Okay, so that is, I'm gonna say 3 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. And again, remember there's vinegar in the ketchup already, so that kind of acid and pungency is already a little bit there, so that's why we're not doing too much of that. Okay, so then you want to add something sweet. You could use honey or white or brown sugar or maple syrup. Because I used apple cider vinegar, I'm going to use maple syrup because I like those together. So that's what I'm going to do, but I gotta find it in the fridge and get it out. This one's pretty dark, which is good because it tastes amazing. This isn't just a steak barbecue sauce, so you don't want to be too sweet. It's going in it's going in a burger, so you know we don't need to get out of our minds here with this. Okay, and then we're gonna add a little bit of salt. I want to put pepper in it. I'm gonna put some pepper in it. We've talked about this before. Nobody likes pepper in my house, but eventually they're gonna catch on and they're gonna be like, wow, Mom, that pepper really makes it pop. And I'm gonna be like, I know, baby, it does. And I'll be right. Okay, now just get a spoon. Wrong spot. Over here. What happens when you start with Cesars before you make the video. I'm gonna mix that together, all of the barbecue sauce ingredients. It's a little light, but that's okay. We're gonna try it. Yeah, that's good. If it were just me, I would add hot sauce right now, but unfortunately, I gotta cool it on the hot sauce. Okay, so now I'm gonna add this amount of barbecue sauce is about a little less than a half a cup. That's gonna go in with the 1 pound of meat. I'm just gonna go like that. And then we're gonna get 1 egg in there. And then I made breadcrumbs in my food processor because I had old bread, but I did not have breadcrumbs. So I toasted the bread, blitzed it through the food processor. This is 1.5 pieces of bread. This is gonna be on the high side for a pound of meat. Probably I should do 1, but I ate a half a piece of bread earlier and I didn't wanna leave a half a piece of bread in the bread bag. So there we go. So that's going in there too. We're gonna get a new spoon. I'm gonna mix them up. Do you know what I always forget to do when I'm making burgers? Because you gotta get your hands in there, right? I always forget to open the dishwasher in advance so that my dirty hands don't have to touch the dishwasher to put the bowl in there and whatever else I got dirty with raw meat. So after I finish mixing this up, but before I start shaping them, I'm going to open the dishwasher like a super genius. You know, the other thing I always forget to do is take off my rings. I have these like rings with all these like crazy crevices in them, and I always have to like clean them with a toothbrush because I get pizza dough and stuff in them and meat when I'm like mixing things with my hands like a barbarian that I am. Okay, so that is nice and mixed together. What I would really like to do, especially since it's extra lean meat, is add some grated cheese right in there. But I'm gonna save the cheese for on top because I don't have very much cheese, so I'm just gonna leave it. Okay, open the dishwasher. Yes. Okay, very good. I'm gonna go over here so it doesn't contaminate everything. So I'm gonna shape these into balls first and then flatten them out into patties. I was advised to put peanut butter in these, which I have never done before, but I'm not gonna do it this time. You know what's so good though? Have you ever had a African peanut stew? It really sold me on the combination of peanuts and beef together. It's like tomato broth and lots of peanut butter and stewing beef and spices basically, and you have it with like rice or whatever, and it's unbelievable. So I think probably you could do a nice peanut butter in your burgers, but anyway, I didn't want to go that direction because I wanted to make barbecue sauce and talk about it to you lovely people. So this is gonna make, I can see it's gonna make 5 pretty big patties, which is, this one's gonna be ridiculous. Who's gonna eat this one? It's so big. My daughter doesn't like meat. And anyway, it's always like this joke of like trying to get her to eat meat. She's only 4, but I kind of respect her instincts to not eat meat. I'm like, okay, well then, doing an egg or something? So maybe I'll make a joke of it and put this giant piece of meat in front of her. It's gonna be hilarious. Okay, so that makes 5. I'm gonna let those rest for a little bit while I clean up, and then I'm gonna turn on the barbecue, and I will show you a picture of them when they're all done. Okay.